Hello there. I'm just going to continue with the going live experiment. I'm really just trying to understand. I'm going to poke at a few buttons here and see what these are. I apologise for it being like this, but you got to learn somehow. And so I'm going to get my complaining out of the way first, because you all want to hear about that. Just got a massive toothache. I had root canal surgery done on a tooth, and I thought that was for old people, and then I thought about it and went, oh, maybe I'm old. So it's just super painful, heaps of painkillers, and yeah, not my best, but no excuses. Still get on, still grow your business, still do all those things. So we plough on, and ploughing on for some clients of mine as well at the moment. And so, you know, we're in a new year, and I'm hoping that all you guys, hopefully some of you are still on a bit of a break and taking the most of this time of year to take that break. I don't feel like I did necessarily so much this time around, and what's today? Saturday. I'm actually meant to be away, but I'm not. I'm at home. I was meant to be away on a little getaway, little weekend away with the bride to do the anniversary. So didn't happen because we got kids, and kids like to get sick, and they like to get all sorts of infections, and so my daughter's side of her mouth has just become out here. It's wonderful seeing a 6-year-old in that kind of discomfort, so that's kind of thrown a spanner in the works, and I'm hoping that she's getting better. Oh, we got a noisy car. Awesome. Clutch control. So so anyway, that's kind of thrown a spanner in the works, plus my son decided to get some sort of throat infection all at the same time, but that's what you have kids for, because they like to throw a spanner in the works, which sort of goes to my point that I was going to make, which is about planning. This time of year, obviously, lots of people get super excited about their New Year's resolutions, and I guess, like my tooth, I'm old enough, wise enough to know better, and to know how to actually get the results that you're chasing in those sorts of New Year's resolutions. How I know that is because I've done a lot of work with people who, I guess, for want of a better term, make it their job role, make it their ambition to achieve their results. So, you know, CEOs and high-level execs and all that sort of stuff, and business owners who, at the end of the day, if they don't get the results, they don't feed their families. You know, it's that sort of critical thing. Not everyone's like that, but for a lot of us, you know, if you don't produce, if you're not a contributor, then there won't be any value. There's no exchange for value, aka you don't get paid. So I, you know, help friends and clients and so forth to do that. Now, what I wanted to do today is share with you just one little idea, which is essentially the idea that you don't want to think about, and I use New Year's resolutions just because it's topical at the moment, but it really comes down to the same thing. No matter throughout the year, you'll have the same thing. You have this goal. Everyone talks about goals, and I got to say I'm not a huge fan of goals in the way that it is said and spread and marketed and so forth. The reason why you hear so much about goals is that they're actually working towards somebody else's agenda. So let's take fitness industry, for example. This time of year, everyone eats up big through Christmas, has all their holiday sugar, and all of a sudden they feel lousy and they're like, yeah, new year, new start, gym membership. Now, I made this joke yesterday, but it's true. But if you look at it, some of the best marketers out there are the fitness industry and the health industry. I mean, when you boil it down, it's eat less and move more, right? It's pretty simple, but if you go into a bookshop or something like that, or go online, there are 1,000,001 ways to say eat less and move more. I mean, it's crazy. Brilliant marketing, but at the end of the day, that's it. So there's those that'll say get off your ass, there's those that'll say change what you eat. There's a million Instagram things out there now with photos of bellies and bums. It's amazing. So, and I mean, if that empowers somebody to make change, then more power to it. But at the end of the day, brilliant marketing. And what I say about the goals thing is it works in, I'm getting every car, known to man going past, but anyway, the thing that I notice, the thing that I'm noticing with goals and so forth like that everyone keeps going on about, is that it kind of works to go camera. It works to the advantage of those who are selling stuff. So your gym memberships and your personal trainers and all that. Using that as an example. So goals and all that sort of jazz doesn't really make much sense to me. What makes a lot more sense is if you set your eye on something where you go, I guess you could argue it's like a goal, but you're saying that you want a particular result by a particular date, for example. Then get really specific on it. And what I find when I work with people is a lot of people will go, the goal they tend to forget about, and then what they're trying to do is they're trying to change something in a more shorter term kind of a way, right? So, let's keep going with the fitness example. So somebody then goes, I'm going to do this week. Now the biggest, or I'm going to go to the gym so many times, or I'm going to do something, I don't know, God knows, like some sort of, using the fitness thing, some sort of physical thing that they haven't done before, and they're going to do X number of them this week. So whether it's go to the gym 5 days a week, or it's I'm getting eaten alive by ants right now. So something where they choose a behaviour, and I've done it myself, so I'm just not having a crack at anybody. It's just the way that we're wired. We'll go and change the behaviour and be all motivated in that first week, let's say. Then let's just keep going with that. Week 2, something comes along, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, actually something else has gotten in the way of that particular thing. So what ends up happening is you don't do it. Now, just like my example before, I'm getting this tooth fixed this last Wednesday, and drug today, all painkillers and whatnot, and it could easily be an excuse not to do it, not to hop on here with you guys and then have a chat and all that sort of thing. So the only way I can do it, and I guess everyone's different, but what my suggestion is, you set your result that you want. So let's say, one thing I often ask people is, okay, 12 months from today, what do you want to be saying about the last 12 months? What's the thing that you really want? And go into 12 months into the future. Be there now and sort of look backwards and go, oh, okay, I did this and I did that, and I would want to have said I've done that or whatever. And then what you can do is start to break those things down and go, all right, then, break it down into quarters, every 3 months, 4 months, whatever, and start to set what you would have need to have done to have achieved whatever that is. Now, I don't want to bang on about fitness because I'm not in it, and there's plenty of people who can go on about that, and it's just topical example at the moment, just because of New Year's resolutions and the time of year and all that sort of thing. But it doesn't matter what it is. It could be an income goal. It could be anything, where you start to break it down and go, well, I would have had to have done this by then and that by then and whatever. So let's say you've figured out 4 main chunks, right? So you figured out in the first quarter I would have, well, let's say it's an income goal, and let's use this as the example. I have a certain number of things that I want to get done, one of which is going to be talking to more people, getting myself out there more than I have in the past. I've been fairly exclusive as far as who I've worked with and things like that, and I'm looking to expand that. Well, one of the things I'm going to need to do is start talking to more people, start making myself more accessible. Well, in this day and age, social media, and that's an easy way to do that. So one of the objectives is to be on social media and so forth, and then once you, let's use that as an example, and then further to that, you break that down. So let's say it's a monthly result, and then you can break your monthly results down into weekly results, and hopefully you can get them down into daily results. And I realise if you're not used to that, that can actually be quite challenging, and I find when I've done it with people, they actually find it fairly hard work, mainly because we're not used to thinking in that way. I guess you are and you aren't, but consciously we don't sit around going, okay, what are the results I need from today to get to my week, to get to my month, to get to my, it just doesn't work that way. But I wouldn't overthink it, because what ends up happening is if you can boil it down, if you've got the big picture and you keep getting it down into smaller and smaller pieces, then what can happen then is you can get it down to a daily thing and just go, okay, I've got to do this, this and this. And it's a bit like I said yesterday, you've got to get to the point where you're fed up with not achieving something, because it's that tiredness of not getting it, which you can then, like if I said yesterday, you get that sort of, I guess, emotional link to it. If you can build that up strong enough and link that to your major result that you're chasing, then that can be your reminder when you're doing something daily and you're like, can't be stuffed doing this, or something else comes up or whatever. You think back and go, oh, that's right, I really want that bigger result or whatever, and if I just do this little thing today, just get it out of the way, then I'll be one step closer. And that's the thing, you just got to remember that it's an everyday consistent pattern that will actually make those big results happen. So that's, I apologise for probably a long-winded way of approaching that, but what I have done finally is I've put it together, all of that planning that I tend to do for like execs and all that sort of thing, into a really, I'm hoping, a very simplified sort of, for want of a better term, workbook, but just a page where you can sort of lay it all out and think about it. So I spent all night last night, I was up till like 5:30 last night, just fart-assing around with websites and all this sort of thing. But what I've done, and I'll put it in a link or something like that, and if you just want to go to that and type it in your whatever it is, name and email or something, that's not to be sent or anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it freely available to that first group who come in, and then you can use it however you like. But it's something I guess over the time I've charged thousands for it, whatever, but I'm just going to start giving it away, and especially this time of year, because honestly I'm pretty tired of hearing people sort of giving themselves I guess, for want of a better term, the excuse of not getting things done. And when in actual fact, getting the results you want is not complex. It's not always easy, but it's not complex. And most times people make it way too complex. So you just find the thing that you really want, as I said, bring it back, start to make it smaller and smaller into almost, if you can, daily things. And most times if you're at that daily point, that's where people make it too complex. You should be down to 1, 2, maybe 3 things that just you keep on doing consistently, and you'll see tremendous results. And I've got a way to track that and all that sort of thing. So if you want to have a look at that, JohnMcAlpine.com, I'll put the link in there. And or if there's a way to put this into the live chat or something, I don't know, but if if you can type it in or something. But I've got it all there, and the website's not finished or whatever, but the form is, so at least you'll get sent the thing, and that'll all be sweet. And it actually comes with a book which I can send you to, which is something I've worked like the last year on, and it's been sitting around. Honestly, it's been sitting around as a document, and I finally got it into a published state and that, so I'm going to start giving that away as well. So I'm probably going to go in the hole with publishing costs and all that sort of thing, but I just think it's good to start sharing this sort of stuff and getting it out there. And it's not going to stop me presenting it to the executive clients and things like that. So it's I just think it is a goodwill to everyone and whatnot, for those who are following me and persisting with me. So what I'm hoping is you'll get along to that, take a look at it. If it works, that's brilliant, and just leave me a comment or something that along that sort of line of things. And if not, please hit me up and ask me any questions about why the hell this thing doesn't work for me. I'm happy to answer all those things. So I'm just loving the fact that this day and age I can hop on and start to share this sort of stuff with all of you. So I appreciate anyone who's on here now. I can't even see. I'm still trying to figure this thing out, but I feel like a retard with this stuff. But I'll put this up somewhere and let it continue on. And if any of you can share it with friends or whatever who might be needing to get results or whatever, that'd be great. And I'm hoping to speak to you again very soon. And like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff that goes on with this sort of thing. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. All right, see you guys.